All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are testing this one out. All right, you all. Yes. This is our Motivational Monday show. And so we are giving the Instagram another go. All right, so let's let those notifications go out as I continue to do what we usually do. So if anybody comes on in over there on Instagram, and then over here on YouTube. So I'm going to, I'll be monitoring, all right? But this is CHA Motivational Monday Show. That's right. And, we like to bring y'all stuff that is inspirational. And we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about that our thoughts are not God's thoughts, right? Okay, so we are going to cover, Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and there we go. All right, and because this is for y'all as well, because we learned that it's all part of the renewing of the mind. Because it's the beauty of being in God's reality. Okay, it is the beauty of knowing that God is making a way no matter what. Right? We don't know, but He does. So we don't have any reason to fear. We don't have any reason to worry because we know that no matter what, God is going to always provide better. And I'm going to give you a little story time to help you put this in perspective, how God always has something better for His chosen one. Because I never in my years would have imagined myself in this particular environment, right? I mean, listen, it's fairly decent. I'm not gonna lie. It's really, as far as any apartment that I have ever rented on my own, not with roommates or anyone else, but I'm talking about on my own, not physically, but with the Godhead and I, right? On my own. This right here is better than any other. And I'm going to try to describe some of the other ones so that y'all, and we don't have the demon of comparison, okay, but we do some comparing because we want to understand that this is what God means by He had better for His chosen ones. So wherever you are right now, just know that what's coming is going to be better. Another reason why you got to trust and believe. That's right. All right, so let's get these formalities out of the way. And if anybody will let me know over here. Hey, Chris. So I know you're on, I see you on Instagram. All right. And so I'll go back and forth and going to be, keeping an eye on that because we're trying something out with the browser thingy. Right. I'm testing that theory. But remember, the Motivational Monday show is structured for advertising. Okay? So you're going to see about every 15 minutes or so. It's a 1 hour show. They said the Instagram today is having issues with streaming past 1 hour. That's fine. This is a 1 hour show. So, and a lot of times I try to end it a couple minutes prior to the full hour anyhow. But you're going to see some advertisement. Okay? Facelift, a minute or less, okay, minute or less, ads for consulting for health awareness. Because hey, listen, we gotta do what we gotta do, okay. But let's get this out of the way. I am Michelle Dickey, yes, your host for CHA Motivational Monday Show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance and Instagram at Michelle Dickey 44. Yes, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center. Trauma healing and spiritual growth occur here, and that's right, at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. Yes, with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true technique, and more. The link to the Academy is in the YouTube video description below for quicker access. For those of you on Instagram, you can easily find the Academy on the website at CDHRWDRMD.org. All right, yes, and you can find CHA Academy That's right. You would click on it and you can see the courses. They'll take you right to the landing page so you can view a short video to learn more about the courses that way too. All right, everybody, that's right. Some of y'all may need to copy and paste those links to view what CHA Academy, BTBW.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. Okay, everybody, so let's do it. All right, I know it takes a while for people to get used to. Yes, hey, sounding good, comment the right way around. Okay, I'm guessing that it seems like some bug fixes. Okay, cool bean. All right, thank you. Well, I don't know. On my end. Yeah, the comments are not okay. Yeah, the comments on Instagram are not doing right for me yet. So it looks like they're working on bug fixes. So we're just gonna go with it. And I know they're working on the past 1 hour over there on Instagram today. But thank you for letting me know that. I will check in periodically since I can see that the comments for you fellow warriors is facing the right way, but I was trying to comment back and it's still backwards for me. So we're gonna let that work itself out. All right, everybody. But yes, our thoughts are not God's thoughts. God always had better for his chosen one. That's right. He always has better. And to illustrate that, I'm going to share with you all, because I remember, God brought this to my remembrance for this message today. Because you need y'all to understand that, God, great things take time, right? God has everything planned out ahead of time. Like he knows. Remember, he knows how many hairs are on our head, right? That's how well he knows us. Well, he made us, right? He created us. So of course, he knows us better than we know ourselves. So it's important to understand that he also, throughout our lives, right? He puts us in places to learn lessons and to, yes, to figure things out, to learn new things and all of that. And then at his appointed time, he awakens us to and from all of that, the narcissism, the evil that's all around us that we didn't know yet in the first two realities. I mean, when we got to the second reality, the perception management reality, it's like we started to notice, hold up a second, but we didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like we just did not know how to articulate it. We didn't know that it was a spiritual battle for the mind. We didn't know that a human being could truly be that evil. And yeah, because they're demonically possessed. And they're demonically possessed, of course they're going to be evil. And we realize the real evil that we are up against are narcissists, right? The abusers, the evildoers who conform to this world. Remember, when they conform to this world, there's not going to be any of the renewing of the mind that can take place. The enemy knows this. That's why he wants to get as many people conformed to this world as he possibly can, right? Keep them in captivity, right, of the world. Whereas God chose one, God said, no, this is mine, okay? And he got better for his chosen one. It can take some years, sure. This is another reason why we learn we have to develop that God-like patience, right? Okay. So I remember it's one of the narcissistic abuse situations that you learn about in my book, Real Events of Narcissistic Abuse. Okay, yes, that you learn about, where I talk about that was the first time God revealed a Jezebel to me through the eyes of this one who basically that narcissist. Now that I know what he is, basically, he's the one that broke a glass picture frame over the right side of my head, right? Remember, the right side of our body is chosen one. If the evildoers are going to get physical, right, and some of them do, they're always going to target the right side of the body the hardest. Now, you know why that is, right? Where does Jesus sit? Right, at the right hand of God. So that's not a coincidence. So that particular situation, yeah, after that, I was able to get with the Women's Crisis Center. So if whoever needs that resource in your area, I don't know about men's centers, but I would imagine there should be, because we know that men are also victimized by the abuse and traumatized by these narcissists just as much as women are. So I would think there's got to be. However, I went and I got the assistance needed because remember, I didn't know yet, okay, about the spiritual side of it. And so I did what I was directed. Another person told me about that center and how they would help you and work with you and, yeah, go with you to court and all of that. So it was really great. And I was like, okay, because I had to file a restraining order against that one. And well, he got haughty with the judge. And so the judge threw the book at him. So even to this day, if he were to cross my path, all I'd have to do is call 911 and he goes, that's it. He goes. So anyhow, that being said, the place that they were able to find for me was a little studio apartment. Okay. Yes, it was a studio apartment, but it was nowhere near the size of this one. It was basically maybe, oh gosh, if I had to measure it, your standard. Well, it could vary also depending on the country and where you live and things like that. But yeah, it's a okay. All right, that's fine, Chris. I got you. I got you. I'll check in every once in a while. Okay. So I would say your typical hotel room, right? This is what this is. It's a refurbished hotel room in the United States. So it is, I want to say, at least a quarter larger than my first studio apartment. My first studio apartment, it was narrower for one. Okay, yeah, and it had a like when you walked in the door, it had just enough room for a couch, and then it had a little island that came out. Okay, and then a very small kitchen area, and I mean tiny. The refrigerator was one of your dorm room type refrigerator. The stove was a small 4 burner, right? Electric, and then the sink, right? So it didn't even have a dishwasher. No, it didn't have that. I was I was the dishwasher, and so off to the side over here was a little bathroom. Okay, had a toilet, a little sink, and the tub, right? So really, that's it. That's all it was. Okay, that was my first one. That wasn't my first apartment. It was just my first studio apartment. Because when I graduated high school and it was time for me to get on my own, I rented a trailer to start with, and then after that, I found a 1 bedroom apartment that was just a regular apartment. It was actually a little bigger than the studio apartment, not by a whole lot, but it definitely had a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a bedroom. So it was a little bit. Okay, probably about the size of this if you split this up. Okay, all right. So that first studio apartment, after getting out of that abusive situation, okay, again, you will learn about that one in my book, Real Event of Narcissistic Abuse, Someone's Survival Guide. And so we're going to continue with this because I want to paint a visual for you all at how God had better for his chosen one. So when we come back from a short break, I will describe the best that I can what we got going on in here because it is better. It is. It's better than what I had at that time. Okay? So stay tuned to learn more about how God had better for his chosen one than we would ever imagine or ever think of because, again, our thoughts are not God's thoughts when we come back. Are you interested in learning how this ministry and work at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA, came into fruition? The best way to learn how CHA came about is in my book, Real Events of Narcissistic Abuse, Someone's Survival Guide, available in PDF, audio, and paperback at CDHRWDRMD.org. You can also find my book across multiple ebook platforms and at Amazon. The audiobook is only available on my website at CDHRWDRMD.org. You will not only learn about red flags of narcissism, you will also take a walk with me on my journey into God's reality, where we begin to develop the spiritual discernment we need to fight this spiritual battle for the mind. CHA is a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ, sending love and light always. All right. Yes, when we come back, because of the audio, I have to wait for the microphone to unmute in my software studio. So thank you for understanding, and welcome back. Yes, okay. I did check the comments over here, and I see you. Yeah, that's a good point as far as for the male victims to prove abuse because of the Jezebel manipulation. Yep. If the abuser is female. Absolutely. That's a great point. Very, very good point. Absolutely. I can see that because the Jezebels are very manipulative. They put on a good show. That's right. Okay, so now to help y'all put it in perspective, this is your motivation to keep going because God has better for you. He has better for his chosen ones all the time. So I described in the last segment, I described one of the studio apartments. Okay, it was not anything. I mean, it was fine, for that season, right? It was a roof over my head. I'm not complaining at all. In fact, it was nice to have my own little place. Still is. So, okay, this one, okay, it is definitely larger by at least a quarter, or I would say a third, okay? It has to be at least a third larger inside, okay? Because I have room in here for a little dresser, table, desk. There's a lot of stuff in here that I have obtained, little like chest drawers over here, this pull-out couch, which would have been all you could get in the living room in the first one, in that other studio apartment. That's it. That's all you would have been able to get in. And maybe a little table, okay? Little coffee table. And then over here, the bookshelf is back here. I've got a shoe rack over here. I've got my tripod and other things there. I've got, this rolling chair when I sit down. The shredder, guitars over there for now. And then there's a little kitchen setup right here. Right, there's it's not a large refrigerator, but it definitely got the freezer on the top and a refrigerator. It's a good size for inside here. Okay, and then it's a 2-burner stove, and then on it I have my appliances. Right, I have my blender, utensils, and it's just like a typical kitchen area. Right, it has decent, and I mean very decent cabinet space for this small area. But it's got a dishwasher, and a good size large sink that I can hand wash my clothes that require hand washing to do, and things. So at my teapot, and then, if you could picture a typical hotel room, then you'll see that I've got a bathroom area, right? The sink, pretty good size where I have my chokers and my jewelry and the makeup and other stuff, right? And then against the wall, I have a rack closet, right? Yeah, I bought one of those rolling things, right? Fits right there nicely on the other side of the wall. And then the bathroom, of course, the sink is right there. And then you go into where the toilet is, and then it's a shower. And so really, as far as it's not only a third larger than the other studio apartment I had years ago, but it's also equipped with everything I need. Everything I need and then some. And it's very well up to date. Style wise, it's got a little bit of a retro thing going on, which is kind of my style. I'm into that retro stuff. So it fits. Like God knew, God knew, like my child gonna be, going through that season where she liked the retro. All right. So there you go. And so it really is awesome because it is much better than any studio apartment I've ever had. And so this is why I want y'all to know that God always had better for his chosen one. Because I never would have, I don't look, we don't look at outward appearances, right? Okay, we don't. But I just want to give y'all a visual to explain to you all how God has better for his chosen one all the time. It's just when we were inside the toxic situation, right? We weren't able to see it. We weren't able to take the time to even think about it, right? We didn't know. We didn't know till we knew. And so that's the beauty behind it. Okay? So Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. Because what we think about, we got to work out that salvation with our Heavenly Father, right? Okay, well, that's a big part of it, is working out that salvation. Asking God, because we know that our thoughts are not his thoughts. What he has for us, okay, we won't necessarily know about until later, right? So, yes, well, thank you. Yeah, it is. It's nice. I'm not going to deny that. It's kind of like, it's not what a narcissist would consider luxury living, but it is what I consider it. This is definitely more luxurious than I've ever. What? I mean, I'm talking about myself, with the Godhead and I. It definitely is. So what period of retro? Basically, I haven't really thought of that. All I know is that I like retro style. As you can see, I consider somewhat of the goth look retro, if that gives you an idea. I'm talking about like, oh gosh, well, because my dad fits the retro style. I'll have to get back to you on that. But Isaiah 55, okay, our thought and our ways are not God's ways, right? We have to understand this. So Isaiah 55, verse 8, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says the Lord. Think about it. Yeah. So letting God guide our steps, and he will guide us to what he has that's better. Absolutely, 100%, every single time, because he had better picked out for his chosen one. In verse 9, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Think about that. Higher, better, bigger. This apartment is a third larger than a previous studio apartment. It's bigger. It's better than what I once had. Based on my own perception, but like I said, I was fine with the other one too. We're, chosen one, we are not picky. See, that's the other thing. Well, okay, hold on a second. I stand corrected. We are picky about certain things. But as far as a dwelling or what have you, we are just thankful for having a roof over our head. And of course, yes, there's a certain criteria, obviously, that we are going to look at, right? The area, cleanliness, things like that. We are going to look at that because as a human being, hello, all right. So we are gonna do that. But as far as remember, chosen ones are not easily impressed. So that's why I never really thought much about how this, it is bigger and better than the other studio apartment until recently, because to me, it was just for me to get in here, get settled, yeah, and get back to work, right? Get back up here, serve. So that's what that's about. And let's see, I don't know if like on Instagram, yeah, see, we're still learning that. So I thank y'all for your patience over there too. And we gotta understand that because I would never have thought that this is where I would be. I know I had a vision once I took a look at a different studio apartment, a different complex. So I got the idea of the size. I was like, okay. And so I knew I was going to get my own place. Didn't know where at that particular moment, but I did a little window shopping. I was like, okay, so now that we know the space that we have to work with. And so I had this vision of the desk, a dresser, desk, light setup. And this, I searched online for this little couch that pulls out to a bed. So I started doing some searching, get the vision, right? And so now I was able to, once I got in here, able to carry out that vision. Because you got to remember, when I moved here, I didn't have furniture. I had a bunch of stuff that I got rid of because they were given to me by a bunch of narcissists. And I just was not going to have that because they didn't give it to me out of a genuine heart. That's why I didn't want none of it. And I mean, none of it. The only thing I kept are things that still serve a purpose. Like the little post-it notes, right? They were given to me not by the ex-psycho roommate, but somebody that he knew who was cleaning out their office supplies. So, I don't even know who they were, but these little things, little clamps and stuff like this, that I did keep, that were given to me by an evildoer, because God said, now you can keep that, because you're using that. It's serving a purpose, okay? Because I'm using it to keep stuff organized and together. And so he said, yeah, but as far as the dishes and things, God said, I got all new for you. He told me that before I even moved. I remember being in my car and I was talking to him. And I was like, okay, I know that I'm going to get my own place. In my mind, I was thinking I was going to finally get my own house. But God's like, stepping stones. So I was like, okay, stepping stone. I'm good. We're good with that. And I was thinking about, as I was downsizing out of the totes that I had in the garage in the previous environment, and I remember asking God, I'm like, okay, so I'm decluttering, I'm downsizing. So we already knew somehow, it was like we knew that God was preparing us downsizing, okay? He was preparing us for smaller space living. And so I loaded those totes and all of that, thinking that I was going to use those things that have all been given to me by the evildoers. And God told me, He was like, said, I got all new stuff for you. He said, I got all new stuff. I got better stuff for you. Okay. I didn't know what that meant until I got here. And I had to get a storage unit. And God reminded me. He said, remember, I have better for you. So after I picked out the furniture side of things, and then got the email that I was approved, I was able to go and pick the stuff up. I had the couch delivered, obviously. And so I had to get rid of the storage unit. So in order for me to do that, he said, I need you to go donate those dishes that the ex-psycho gave you. He said, donate those clothes that the Jezebel gifted to you. That now some of those things that were gifted to me by Jezebel ended up in the trash. Okay? Some of it ended up in the trash, and then some of it got donated. Because I know that, no, y'all, demon spirit don't attach to physical object. Whoever still believes that, pray. Okay, because demon spirit need a human host to exist. They're not going to exist on a physical object, because inanimate objects do not serve a demon spirit any purpose. Think about it. It needs a mouth. It needs legs to walk, right? Yeah, it needs a human host. So no, I got rid of those things that were gifted to me by the evildoers simply because it's me, right? I don't want to keep nothing that was not given to me from a genuine and righteous, clean heart. That's what I'm looking at. Because they gave us this, they gifted us and gave us these items, but it didn't come from a genuine, loving heart. I ain't going to keep nothing that was given to me out of a cold, dark heart, or out of the fact that they felt obligated, or they gave it to me as a love bomb. I don't want it. And God told me, he said, that's fine. I got all new for you. I said, okay, but where? And so he took me to a store that I had not visited in a long time, that happens to be in the city that I'm in. And so he had me pick stuff out. He guided me to the pot and pan set. He guided me to my new dishes. I mean, yeah. So it was really great, and everything is better. And then also, y'all, yes, we got more to share with you on that, okay? And so for anyone who is ready to accept that we've been lied to since birth about a lot of things, you can unlock exclusive content all about radio frequency poisoning. Yes, Jezebel case study results, personal testimonies, things that go on in my life to share with you all as inspiration and God revelations and all of that. Things from the rabbit hole and beyond on our Patreon channel. All right, so stay tuned to learn more about how God has better for his chosen ones when we come back. CHA's Patreon membership channel is another place you can support this ministry and work for as little as $5 a month. When you become a member of CHA's Patreon membership channel, you will unlock access to a lot of content that will help you purge that subconscious mind of worldly garbage to make room for more of God's wisdom. We have been lied to since birth about a lot of things. On CHA's Patreon membership channel, we make real-world connections to the spiritual realm and more. The link to CHA's Patreon membership channel is listed on the My Social page of the website at CDHRWDRMD.org. Also linked in the description below. Thank you for becoming a loyal member of CHA's Patreon channel. Sending love and light always. All right. Welcome back. And I did see some comments over there. Yes. Okay. I was not, to answer your question, fellow warrior, when I was looking for apartment. I mean, I had a budget in mind, but God told me to stop doing that. Because he said, stop doing that. He said, he already had this place picked out for me. Maybe a little slightly over budget, but he told what I was, remember, my thoughts are not God's thoughts, right? Our thoughts are not God's thoughts. our ways are not God's ways. And so, because we have changed that thinking, so I was like, okay, hold up a second. God said, I need you to look at the value that you're getting with the access to a workout, a gym, a pool, the convenience of the location where I am walking distance, if necessary, from getting something to eat, going to the store, everything. I'm walking distance, okay, from a lot of places. So there's a lot of value. See, that's how the abundant mindset starts to think, right? That's what we do with the abundant mindset. We think about the value that we're getting for that, and then that what it's costing to stay, the monthly cost. You don't have any separate utility bill, and you've got amenities, you've got privacy, okay? You've got and you got everything you need to live, to work, to do. So I did it first. I went the old way. And God's like, don't look at that. So don't look at that. Look at the value and the convenience of the fact that you're not going to have to go and get water turned on. You don't have to go get electricity turned on. You don't have to do none of that. Value. So yes, all right, and that's to answer your question. I did it first, but then with the abundant mindset, God says, don't look at that. God says, I don't care about that. Okay, so I have another example how God has better, because I didn't think when I know something this simple, seriously, y'all, something this simple as a organizer for your silverware, right, to put in your silverware drawer. Well, I originally bought one that was wooden. It had a little bit of space up underneath. And so I didn't think about the fact that, hold up a second, crumbs and things like that. So I came to realize that particular, nothing wrong with it. It's just that particular organizer was like a magnet for crumbs and other food residue to get up underneath where there's crack that not very easy to keep clean. So God says, I need you to get rid of that. I got one better. And so one made of exactly like a type of rubber, but it's solid, plastic and rubber. And it actually, because the wooden one, it moved around a lot. So he had this other one, a better one, that doesn't have spaces where it's easier to keep clean. You see? And so and it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and then the one up at the top for some other gadget, whatever, it was bigger than the one on the wooden one. Yeah, it was bigger than the wooden one, and I had extra so I could store some additional silverware. That's how God does bigger and better for his chosen one. It's just that during the time I was just getting in here, I wasn't really, I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to need this. Well, I like this, but I didn't think about long term as far as, is that going to be convenient to clean or easy to clean or keep clean? Because we want to work smarter, not harder. Right? Okay, there you go. All right, everybody. So that's their example there, because it's really important. So, yes, fellow warrior, as we said earlier, that, believing demons being attached to objects, prayers for them indeed. Yes, it is a superstition. That's right. It is a superstition. Now, at first, I even fell for it because I didn't know any better yet. Now that we do, and we understand how demon spirits operate, and that they're not going to attach themselves to an inanimate object. No. It's just not going to happen. And so I wanted to give you all that, because it's very important to understand how God has bigger and better. And so that to let you know that whatever you are currently experiencing right now, whatever it is that you may be thinking, okay, this is not for you. You may be thinking that, well, you're not complaining. Chosen one, we stop complaining. Okay, we learn to knock that off. All right. So we're thankful, right? So whatever it is, the circumstance that you're in, for example, if it happens to be your living arrangement may not be, I mean, you might be thinking that it would be nice to have a better arrangements. Well, just know that God does have better for you. There you go. Just know God has better for you. It's going to happen at His appointed time. Remember, God will level us up when He sees that we are ready, right? Okay, so for those of you who may be wondering why you haven't seen a level up, right? Be sure you're walking by faith, though, not by sight. But because it has not manifested into the physical yet, ask God, what is it that you need to get ready for? What is it that He needs you to do to be ready? So let me help y'all put that in perspective. I was like, okay, today, again, our thoughts are not God's thoughts. Our ways are not God's ways. Another great example, just today, I knew I was going to do laundry. I got to do a little laundry. And so as I am, seeking ye first the kingdom of God, getting it all figured, I'm like, okay, looking at my list. Yeah, I was still going through some things that, because my clothes were in that other environment where there was nicotine and cigarettes, right? So I've been going through those stages. Like all my shoes have been washed, right? Other things that were exposed to that were collecting, right, the dust, little bit of dust that comes in here as I'm dusting, and I'm noticing, I was noticing where the greenish, bluish metal color was attaching itself to certain fabrics that hadn't been washed yet since getting here. And so I was doing it in steps, right? And which is fine. So I got down to just a couple of skirts that are hanging now. They had to be hand washed. A couple of skirts that are hanging to dry. And then some other delicates that had to be washed on the delicate cycle. I was like, okay, so I have a regular load to do, and God put it on my spirit. He said, I want you to finish it all. He said, I want you to finish all with your clothes, everything. He said, I want you to wrap that up. Okay. I was like, because that's Him letting me know that He's getting me ready for something. Think about it. But when God does that, He switched it up. Because I was only going to do the one regular load today, thinking maybe later in the week I would get to the delicate. God said, no, I want you to do it all today. Okay. Because for those who haven't heard this yet, God got me walking physical therapy in I think it's maybe about a 1 to 1.5 inch boot that happens to be heels. Okay. He got me doing that. And so there was some clothing that needed to go through the wash that those are going to be worn with. See, like I said, God's getting me ready for something. That's all I know. Because when He pipes up like that, I'm in my mind going, okay, wait. Later on this week, I was going to do the delicate. God said, then I want you to get it all done today. That way they're all clean. You good. I mean, they were clean to start with. It's just I had to get the residue, the nicotine and other things out of the clothes. So they had to go get run through a cycle. So there you go. So that's how God works. Okay, when He does things like that, you're thinking, okay, this is the order, I'm gonna do something, and then God chimes in and says, all that done. That lets you know He's getting you ready for the next level up. And so for some of y'all, it might be that you still have some trauma bonds to the world that need to be broken. So once you understand what's going on inside the brain and the body during the trauma bonding process, remember we get trauma bonded to the world first, then we're more easily trauma bonded to one of the evildoers. Well, God reverses that. So we healthy attachments to people and things. And so we're up to another short break. So stay tuned for a wrap up about how God has better for his chosen one when we come back. Are you still getting trauma bonded to narcissists? Do you want to learn how the trauma bond is formed? The course, How the Trauma Bond is Formed at CHA Academy is for you. We hear about how the trauma bond is like a drug addiction, but what does that mean? With a background in forensic toxicology, I answer that question in How the Trauma Bond is Formed at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. Once you know the trauma bonding process is simply a manipulation of the brain chemistry to keep people emotionally dysregulated, you will never allow another love bomb to manipulate your dopamine again, and in turn never get trauma bonded to another narcissist. The link to the course is also listed in the video description. I look forward to seeing you at CHA Academy, where iron sharpens iron, with fellow spiritual warriors for Christ. Sending love and light always. All right. Welcome back. Yeah. All right. So yeah, as you learned about in the short clip there, that once you know what's happening inside the brain and the body during the trauma bonding process, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to help you, because going forward, this is what I'm talking about. God has better for his chosen one. And so that course just helps you with that wisdom, right? So that you get better at keeping them in the love bombing stage, right? Leave them there, right? And also no longer allow it to manipulate your dopamine. You see, I'm not the only one out here pushing back against, going after dopamine rushes or norepinephrine adrenaline rushes, but I'm not the only one pushing back against that. Because in order for us to grow and mature, we have to learn that we've got control of ourselves, right? God never intended for our brain chemistry to be manipulated like that. So God's wisdom is bigger and better. Remember, God's wisdom, right? The word of God triumphs earthly credential all day long. Never forget that. Right? Yeah. Although our earthly credential serve a purpose, but God's purpose is bigger. Right? God's purpose is much bigger than that. So that's why a lot of people out there in the world told us, because of those credential, that we're supposed to be in this field or that field or that field. But God's like, God had bigger and better. And let's clarify, what is God bigger? Okay, it's not, for us, it's not bigger than our stomachs. I gave y'all some examples, so real quick for the recap. God's bigger simply means like this studio apartment is 1/3 larger than a previous studio apartment that I had years ago. That is God's bigger. Okay? In its simplicity. We're not to be thinking that we are bigger than we really are. I was trying to get that out. Yeah, it's not us thinking that we are bigger than we really are. That's that high-mindedness. Got to be able to properly discern that God's bigger simply is with space a lot of time. And then faith. Our faith increases the closer we get to God. Remember, God said, right, the closer to him we are, closer to us he is, the more we will increase it. Colossians 2:19 comes to mind. So we increase the closer to God we get, and the closer to us He is. We increase in all areas of our lives. It might take a few years. You know how we know that when we do something, that God is going to restore it 100-fold. It might take a few years, but He's going to do it. Glory be to God. So, and He does. And so I thank you to all who do pledge service grant to the ministry. Thank you. All right. And I know, I declare and decree that yes, God is going to restore 100-fold. Right? No matter how long it takes, it's going to happen. There's a lot of us who can attest to that. Like I said, those visions that we have, that God gives us. Yeah, don't give up on those. Oh, because God is going to, yes, He got better. Now, see, like in my mind, there's one final little piece to help y'all put it in perspective. In my mind, the vision I had for making my own juices and veggie drinks and soups and stuff, the vision I had was just simply, maybe making a zucchini juice, right? That's the vision I had, where I was thinking, which is close, and that I was going to just, be drinking out of a regular glass, but God had better, right? And of course, I do drink them out of a glass, but the thing is that He had better. He said, "No, honey, child." He said, "I want you to make you a superfood, green food, okay? Green superfood." He said, "I want you to put the kale in there. I want you to put the zucchini in there. I want you to make your own V8." That's what God said. He said, "I'm going to have you make your own version of a V8 juice without all that other crap that companies put in there. All right, with no added crazy making stuff." So there you go. That was God's vision. He leveled it up. God levels up our vision. Like He gives us an introduction. See, that's how God does better, has better. Right? He had better for His chosen one. And that's what He did. He knew the vision He gave me, which on track, on point. Okay. But He's like, "I got one better for you." Guiding my steps at the grocery store, pick out what we need. Right? Get back here, put it in the pot, cook it down, put it in the blender. Then you know what God did after that? That's right, because He always has better for His chosen one. But I was thinking, well, how am I going to get the extra protein in there? I got to get some extra protein. And He says, "Honey, child," said, "what you got in them bags in that cupboard?" I was like, "What, dry beans?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Why not? If you're going to do a sweet potato soup, why not add beans are a vegetable, and they contain not only potassium, but also protein." So we got a sweet potato and large lima bean soup. Goes well together, by the way. So for anyone who needs that, all right? Yeah. Cook them down, nice and soft, blended them together. That particular batch did not need any garlic powder or onion powder or anything. The pumpkin one that I did with Great Northern bean got a little bit of onion powder, garlic, and a dash of cayenne pepper. So that kind of thing. Then put the beans with it. There's your little bit of extra protein that you need and potassium. So there you go. That's how God levels us up, everybody. That's right. He has better for His chosen one, always. So it doesn't matter. We got to learn that trust the Heavenly Father. Let me come back over here and see. Okay. What's going on? Okay. All right, I see the Instagram must have stopped. Okay, well, that's all right. That's all right. I know they're working on that bug, but you know what? We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up anyhow. So I gave y'all those examples, and let's hope that at some point the Instagram one finishes up. All right, everybody. So there you go. All right, that's how God had better for His chosen one every single day, every year. All right, yeah. Okay. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Motivational Monday Show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and hopefully still Instagram at Michelle Dickey 44, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center. That's right, trauma healing and spiritual growth occur here, right? And at CHAAcademyBTBW.com with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true technique, and more. You may need to copy and paste the Academy link to view what CHAAcademyBTBW.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.